Okay, so thank you so much, Amanda. Amanda Huber is on our call today, and I had the pleasure of meeting Amanda in Arizona. Like a month ago now, almost. And Amanda is actually a retired teacher, so she has been working in the business for 6 years. Went full time 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's a three-star diamond who I was talking to her on the retreat and I was like, oh, I'd love to have you on our team call. Like, what's your jam? And I was like, I really, like my kind of personal struggle is boot camps. And I think then that can kind of relate into the team. And Amanda said, oh, boot camps are like totally my jam. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I kind of asked her in Arizona if she would come on the call, and she was obviously pleased to do that. And so I'm so, so delighted to have her on the call today. Thank you so much for making the time. And yeah, I'll let you fire away.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, like Izzy said, I am Amanda. I've been a coach for 6 years this month, so it'll be 6 years, I think on the 22nd of November, which I just realized I hosted a retreat last weekend for some of my coaches, and we realized that some of us that have been super successful actually enrolled in the hardest time of the year. Think about it, like November, December, like who wants to start something new around the holidays? It's just kind of crazy. But I think when you find people who are really interested in what they do, they jump right in. So that's just a little side note that I thought that was kind of a cool little thing, because a couple of my leaders also enrolled like November, December, January. So I thought that was just kind of interesting. But I grew up always wanting to be a teacher. Went straight into education, became a middle school teacher for 10 years, right out of college, or university, I think you guys might call it in the UK.
Yeah.
We call it college. So became a middle school teacher. It was always my dream. That's the only thing I ever wanted to do. My mom was a teacher. When I got there, I wanted more. I think I always was like searching for something more, and the only more in education would be to go back to school and get another degree. And so I got a degree in educational technology, became what we call something called a technology coach. Basically, I coach teachers in the classroom. So I was then out of the classroom, and I was a coach for 3 years. So I would go in and help plan technology lessons with the teachers, like have them integrate technology in the curriculum. And then, but I still wanted more. There was still more. I kept wanting to move up the ladder. And so I went back to school again. This is master's number 3. I didn't tell you about number 1 because it didn't matter, but this is master's number 3. Get to the top. My dream job as director of innovative learning for a school district, essentially like director of technology and curriculum for a K-8 school district. Got there and hated my life. Like hated it so much. It was not what I thought it would be. And maybe it was the school district I was working for, but I just don't think it was. I think that I had become a coach, funny enough. I become a coach in 2013. This was 2014 that I became a director. And I had seen in that last year so many people living a life that I never even knew was possible, right? I'd seen all these top coaches living this life by design, right? That we hear all the time. They're working the business full time and they're working from home. And I honestly in that first year was like, I could never do that. Like, I'm never gonna match my income. I'm never gonna like get there. But 2014, something happened. I unfortunately lost my best friend to cancer. So I started this job that I got there and I hated, lost my best friend to cancer, broke up with a boyfriend, all in this like 2014, 15 year. And I just learned that I found Jesus, and I just learned that like life is too short. And so that year, like beginning of 2015, decided I'm going all in on this business. Like I am going to make this happen. But I still didn't think that like walking away from my job was going to be possible for years and years. I just tell you this because I like to hear people's stories. This has nothing to do with challenge groups, obviously. But I 2015, I was just like, I thought it was going to be 10 years down the road. I thought I had to match my income, but I now live in Denver, Colorado, but this was never part of my plan either. But I was living in Chicago at that time. But in 2017 or 2016, I visited here, and it was like God saying, you need to live here. You need to leave your job. You're making enough money with Beachbody. You can do that full time. I didn't match my income. So if that's a worry of yours that you have to match your income to walk away from a job that is not fulfilling you anymore, you don't need to. Yes, you need to make an income that is going to support you, because I am single. I don't have kids. Like, I had to make sure that I could support myself, which I could. And so I went all in 2017, and it's been an interesting time for sure. It's been wonderful. And actually, most recently, I accepted a full-time job. It's just so funny how life works. Like, I never thought I'd be working full-time again, but again, God opened a door, and it wasn't for income. It was just because I love kids. I'm now managing a kids gym. Like, I get to teach again. I get to play with kids, and and it's fitness. Like, it's a kids gym. And so it's just interesting. I just like hearing people's stories, because it's just interesting how life takes all these turns. If you just listen and go through the doors that God or the universe or whatever you believe opens for you. Because I think that has been the biggest thing for me, is that I've always just listened and just walked through the doors. And some of those doors have closed quickly and were not the right things, right? But other doors have been amazing. And I just say that to inspire you a little bit if you're sitting in kind of an unhappy, unfulfilling place in your world. But let's get to challenge groups and why I love them so much. And honestly, it's because that's what drew me into coaching. So in October of 2013, I had just ran a marathon, my first marathon, actually my second marathon. My first one was like 10 years prior to that though. So, which might make you think that like I was always this fit person. Not the case. At 20, I was anorexic. At 30, I was over 200 pounds. And I was running this marathon, and I was 35. I'm now 41. So at 35, I'm running this marathon, and it was awesome, and I loved it. But I knew that after that marathon, I wasn't gonna be able to eat all the crap that I was eating, because I wasn't gonna be burning all the calories I was burning. That was the mindset that I always lived in. I can eat this if I burn all the calories off. I literally, back in my 20s, wouldn't leave the gym until I burned 1,000 calories, because that's literally how I thought the body worked, that you had to burn. In the gym, I never thought that like you were burning calories all day long. Like, that wasn't a thing. I literally thought that I had to burn all the calories that I ate. And if I'm completely honest, I definitely was not eating even 1,000 calories probably, but I would not walk out of that gym till I burned 1,000. And so now this marathon comes around, and I'm still in that mindset. This is, I don't know, 15 years later, right? But then I saw my coach, who was at the time 25 weeks pregnant, posting on social media her workouts. And I'm like, what is she doing? Like, what is she? I thought she was nuts, talking about like all of her workouts. I wasn't super interested in the workouts, to be honest, at first, because I was a runner. I had a gym routine. I was kind of fine with my workouts. I still was in that unhealthy mindset about it, but I felt like it was fine. I'm sure you have people that tell you this all the time. I already have a gym routine. I'm fine, right? But what intrigued me was she was running a clean eating group. And back in 2013, clean eating was like the thing. And everyone was running free clean eating groups. And if we rewind to, my best friend at that time was sick with cancer, right? She was learning about like really healing her body through like alkaline and acidic levels and food and all the supplements and all these things. And I wanted to learn more, because I wanted to know what she was, feeling and all of these things. And so when I saw this clean eating group, I was like, okay, perfect timing. After this, it literally started the day after the marathon. So I'm like, perfect timing. I'm going to learn how to eat clean. And that group changed my world. Like, it changed my life like no other. It changed how I look at food. and I have been a nutrition geek since. If you guys were on at the beginning of the call before we started recording, I was talking about how I'm currently doing the ultimate reset, and I literally just am a nutrition geek. I just want to learn how food affects my body, and it all started with that very first free group. From there, joined her paid challenge group, but I told her I already had a workout program because I already had TurboFire at home. I'd bought it off like Groupon or something. And I'd actually already tried Shakeology in the past. And so I told her, don't try and sell me that shake shit. Sorry, if you guys don't curse, I curse. Don't try and sell me that shake. Like, I don't need that. All I want is the accountability of this group. Because that first free group, I loved checking in with my food and like telling everybody what I ate and taking pictures of my food and like sharing everything. And so that first group, thankfully, she let me in without purchasing anything from her. And within that first 30-day group, by the end of that group, it was probably like, well, it was November 22nd, and the first day of that clean eating group was like October 14th or something. So I mean, like 5 weeks later, I was like, I'm in. I want to like be a coach. But my coaching journey started very slow. I only ran free groups. So I am going to talk a little bit about free groups because I think that there is a lot of value in them. And to be honest, I've gotten away from them a little bit. And Lindsay and I kind of did a little reflection of like where I am right now and like what things kind of might need to change. And one of those things is like bring free groups back because it's a way that you connect and build trust and build value with people. So totally forgot that I had created a presentation because I'm like loving seeing all of you, but let me pull that up just because I do have a few tips on there. All right, give me 1 second. So that's my team in Breckenridge. We were in the mountains last weekend and it was amazing. Some of the girls were able to come out. So this is probably over 200 pounds. This was actually a few years ago, but thankfully I've been able to still keep the weight off. And that's a pretty recent photo, but I already told you my story. All right, so basically with challenge groups, there's so many different types of groups that you can run. And honestly, there's no right way or wrong way to do it. What I think matters most is that you make it fun and that you do something that you like to do. I was going through my Canva, which is where I create a lot of my like images and stuff. And a lot of these are like old stuff, right? But I just thought it was cool to like go back and see all the kind of different groups that I've ran. But I think some of the different types of groups that you can run are free groups. Some great free groups that I've ran are sugar, like detoxes. I've called it many different things. That's the thing that you just need to get creative with. But like everyone struggles with sugar, right? So I've called it sugar fix. I've called it sugar detox. I've called it sugar reset. I've done sugar groups many times and it always attracts people because people want to eat less sugar, right? But what I always talk about in that group is that it's not really about like the cookies and the cake and the donuts, like that's great. But what I end up teaching them is like the ingredients in foods. Like you guys, I don't know, thankfully, I think the UK has a little bit better food than we do, but like pasta sauces, salsas, like sugar is hidden in so many things that I think it's just interesting. And I love teaching people about that. Obviously, there's where the nutrition geek keeps coming out. I've done like a learn to love yourself and really focused on just like that loving yourself. It could be just a 5-day little free group. I think this was actually for a full monthly challenge, but that could be a free group. Look great naked. I literally, that's a picture of me naked behind this big black thing. Like you just have to get creative with it. And this is, again, a big, long 12-week thing, but it could be a free group. Like anything can be a free group. What's important with free groups is that you're just adding value and you're building trust and you're showing people what a group looks like. Because when somebody joins, they have no idea what we're even talking about with challenge groups, right? They have no idea like what goes on in there unless you're showing it all the time in your stories or in your wherever, right? Like people just don't understand the fun, the camaraderie, the check-ins, the posts, all the things, right? They don't even understand. So a free group kind of gives them that kind of inside look to what a group kind of looks like in a very small level. I suggest not spending a ton of time on free groups because you aren't getting paid from them, right? But so don't like put your whole heart and soul into it. You want to keep your full mindset around your paid groups and your paid clients, but free groups do help build that trust and help your client, your prospective clients kind of just see some value. We also do 21-day groups. Right now, today is the last day. Recently, we just were like banging our head against the wall. Like people weren't showing up in groups. It was like, what can we do differently? And one of my new coaches was like, I go to a bar class and these women show up for like these crazy challenges all the time. And one that they're doing right now is you have to do 15 workouts in 21 days or something like that. And I was like, she's like, and people show up. Some people show up for 2 classes a day. And I was like, you know what? I have a hard time because I know that we are about the whole package, the total solution. And I'm a nutrition geek, so I always want to talk about nutrition. But I was like, you know what? Let's run with that. So we did a 21-day workout challenge. And they had to complete 18 workouts in 21 days. And we gave them this cute little like punch card essentially that they could check off each of the boxes. And they loved it. And honestly, we didn't even use a script. There was probably like 8 coaches in there, and I'll talk more about that. But we just kind of authentically were sharing different things every day, and people just loved showing up. And what the was it was like, okay, well, I know that it's about the total package, but a lot of people need just an in, right? A lot of people will say like, well, the workout's the easy part. I can do that. Let me just commit to that piece. And then you have, again, built more trust, added more value to their lives. Now you can talk to these people about adding on nutrition or adding on Shakeology if they did not purchase a challenge pack. So that would be people who maybe purchased a 3-month membership or a yearly BOD membership. And then we have monthly groups. I'm starting, or I'll get to that. So you can do a monthly group and just general. It doesn't have to be program specific. Launch groups are always so much fun, and we always do them kind of as a whole team usually. My upline, Lindsay, and I do a lot of things together. We started this business essentially together. She started maybe 4 or 5 months before me. And so we've done just a lot of things team-wide, both teams together. So that's fun. VIP groups. I mean, these are just kind of names that you can call things. You can call them boot camps. You can call them challenge groups. You can call them accountability groups. You can call them mentorship groups, whatever you want. But VIP group was kind of something that we were running with for a little while. So it was, I had all my general clients in a group. But then if you were new or you were purchasing something new, then you were in a VIP group and you were 100% checking in every single day. You were getting points or whatever. So VIP groups, you can do nutrition groups, which actually Izzy just inspired me because I was like, okay, what's my next group going to be? Because I'm in the ultimate reset right now, I didn't want to start, even though I have a group ending today, didn't want to start one until I'm done with the reset, to be honest. I'm fine with that. And so the rest of my month is kind of focusing on adding coaches and adding people to this nutrition boot camp that I'm going to do. I was watching your stories and I was inspired that you guys were doing that. And I'm such a nutrition geek. And so kind of going to get them in with a 3-day refresh and then move them to 2B Mindset because I'm a 2B Mindset follower. You can do refresh groups, you can do reset groups. So there's so many different types of groups and things that you can do. But I think some of the biggest tips that I have are 1, make it fun. If it's not fun for you, it's not going to be fun for anyone. And I think I got to a place, I've gotten into places throughout my journey, throughout the time. I've run a group every single month for 6 years, but some of the groups are just so stale. No one's showing up. And if I go back and reflect on it, it's because I'm not having fun anymore, right? Like if it's not fun for me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go check into this group, then it's not going to be fun for anyone, right? And so really just if it needs to be themes, I know one of my downline coaches and her team, they love to do themes. So they just did a Friends theme, and they've done, oh gosh, they've done some really fun one. Friends is in the show, Friends. And so like all of their posts were around the Friends theme. They've done like a music one, so that every day they'd start their group with a different song. They've done so many different things, and I'm like, that's fun.
Can
That's
I
not,
just ask, how would that work? Sorry to interrupt you, but how would they start their group with a different song? Like
they're like posting a YouTube video or something
okay, cool.
in their group every morning or something. Yeah. And then like we do Triller videos a lot. And so then they'd give like us that was like the song of the day then. And then that they'd hear that song multiple times a day. What else did they've done some really fun ones. I mean, if you Google, like you can Google challenge group scripts and find a ton of things. Why that's not my thing is because I don't like creating my own scripts anymore. I did that for so many years that it was just like, I don't have to do that anymore. There's people that will like create a script for me and a posting guide. So that's not my next tip. That is one of my tips. So I'll come back to the other one. So since I got on the posting guides, I can actually like follow somebody else's guide. And so Lindsay actually, for our team, so grateful, purchased a posting guide from, I don't know if you guys have heard of Mompreneur VA. I can share a link. I'm actually not even sure how much it is, but she gives a new monthly guide, and she knows like Beachbody. I don't know if she was a prior Beachbody coach or what, but she knows our business. And so the guide is like many times, like if there's a new product coming out, there's like a little drop in about that product coming out. And like, there's posts about Energize and different things. So then, because for me, I just lost that creativity, and I honestly don't want to be spending my time creating.
That sounds amazing. Like we've got a lot of girls here who like work full time doing other jobs, and I think like if there's like a posting guide from somebody who's like got like creativity with the stuff, that would be amazing.
Yeah, here, this is it. So I'll just show you. So it's the Mompreneur VA.
Yeah.
This, I think you can purchase it here. I'll share the link. But anyway, so then there's this, she calls it a core. That's just how it's set up. And she gives you everything. Like she gives you images, like everything. It's the best. And they're it's high quality, like they're good posts. They're good scripts. And they're good, pretty images, like I just love it. It's really good. So there's that. And then with that, she also does, this is like cocktails and cookouts, a free group. So that's another thing that we've done as a team as well. But let me put this.
Donna, one of my coaches, she just had a quick question on one of your earlier things. She said, when you do your free groups, with the free group for the nutrition, how long do you run them for? Or was there never like a typical period of time that you would run them for?
There wasn't. Like if I go back to when I very first became a coach, I ran like 30-day free groups because I was so terrified to sell anything because I honestly hadn't gotten results from a program yet. And so I'm sure many of you feel that way, or you have new coaches that feel that way. And now I tell my new coaches, actually, no, people want to see your journey, but I didn't know that yet, right? And so I just ran free groups. I'm not kidding, for like, I did November to December, January, probably like 3 months of like free clean eating groups. I don't recommend that to new coaches, but that was back in the day. Now I would say like 1 week. And do I have them sign up for the free trial? I don't always. I probably should, but honestly, I don't. Because I honestly just want them to like learn who I am, begin to trust me, and not think that right away I'm trying to sell them something. Even with a free trial, like you're almost trying to sell them something, right? And so I know some people want them in their database and they want to put them right in that free trial, and I get it. It's just not where my heart leads me and like where I go with it. I think that's just a personal choice for people. So, but I would say like a 1-week group at most. You could even do a 3-day group. Like it doesn't have to be long. It's really about building that trust, adding some value, helping them see what a group looks like. A little bit deeper than just seeing you in your stories and in your posts, right? It's a little bit of a higher value. So posting guides, that mompreneur is awesome. The challenge group guides in the back office are great too. You can mix and match some of those posts, throw some extra posts in there. I like to throw some extra recipes. Mompreneur does give you some recipes. So I do like to throw those recipes in, and then like people love recipes. Like that is some of the easiest value you could give to people is recipes. Like right now I'm sharing every single day what I'm eating on this plan, and they're like, where can I get that recipe? And I'm like, Ultimate Reset, let's talk. No, honestly, the Ultimate Reset is not the plan to get a very brand new person on. So I've shared some of the recipes with just like adding value in my stories, right? All right. So where are we posting, or where are we hosting challenge groups? I'm a Facebook girl. I still love Facebook groups. I don't love the challenge tracker app. I just don't. Because for me, a group is all about connection and like people connecting and sharing and like, the feed and all of that. And in the challenge tracker app, the focus is on checking in your workout, checking in your Shakeology, which is great. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that some people love that. But I don't think that most of my clients scroll through and look at the challenge tracker app's posts. That's just me. That's what I've polled my clients multiple times. And honestly, at different seasons of life, they've told me they like Facebook, and at different seasons of life, they told me that they like the challenge tracker app. So I think it's just different for different people, and that's okay. But you have to go with where your heart is and where you feel best, right? And so I just like Facebook most. Sometimes I will do both, where I will open up the challenge tracker for anybody that wants to just check off their workout and their Shakeology, and they like seeing all those check marks, but like all of the content is on Facebook. I'm really interested in the groups, the BOD groups that are coming out, because I think it just looks nicer. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. They announced it at Leadership, but when 10 rounds comes out, they're coming out with something called BOD groups, and essentially it's the challenge tracker app, but like better is how I saw it. And then there's something called Thinkific. I personally have not used this. It is a paid subscription, but I've seen some top coaches like run their groups in there, and you can run like more like kind of like a course, I guess, in a sense, where they have to like check off each post, and you can keep track of that a little bit more. So if you're looking to invest in something a little bit more than Facebook or challenge tracker, then maybe Thinkific. I have not invested in it yet, but it is on my radar because I would like to run new coach groups in there and different things, because my teacher brain likes it, because it like sets up courses and like modules, and like I like that part of it, I guess. So that's that. And then a big thing has just been like having some sort of check-in in your group. No matter like we actually just had this conversation at my retreat last week, because one of my coaches was like, okay, tell me why you would not post a check-in post at night, every night. And I was like, okay, I got it. These are all like, you can post them any time of the day. I said, Megan, it doesn't have to be at night, because then at night we're making people come back to the group again, right? And we don't want to have people what I've found is people are like, I can't keep up with it because I'm like, there's so much, right? So like, what if everything was just posted one time in the morning or whenever it's posted, and then it's there and they see it and they can check in throughout the day whenever they're able to check into the group. She was like, okay. But these are just a few different images and ways that we've done check-ins. This top one on the top left was just like, we'd have just a question of the day. There was no workout. You could still post your workout and food and Shakeology like just to the feed of the group, but then the check-in was just like a question of the day, just to like get people like to see each other and like what are they each accomplishing for the day. This is just a general workout check-in kind of image that you could post. This is another kind of check-in that I've done where I was asking them, what did you eat today? What was your first cell phone? They're just like literally random questions. Another one you could do is like rate your day and why from 1 to 5. When was the last time you bought something for yourself and what was it? There's another basic Shakeology check-in post. And then have you ever put something unusual in the refrigerator? Like silly things, but like that's where the like community and connection comes from, is those silly little things, right? So those are just kind of some different ways that we've done check-ins. And like I said, it can be posted in the morning, it can be posted in the evening, it can however you feel best. Point systems, I used to have an assistant, and I need to get a new one because I haven't had her for a couple of years when I was working the business 100% full time. Now that I'm back out in the working world, I feel like I need an assistant again because I don't like tracking points. But some people love point systems. So this is just one example of a point system that we've used in the past. You can kind of just see that there. Or you could just do a point for logging your workout and a point for logging your food and a point for logging your Shakeology. You could honestly do it on the honor system too. You don't have to track it all yourself. I've done it like the 21-day workout challenge that we're doing right now. They're tracking that themselves on this. We just made like a little image. I should have thrown that in here. We just made a little image that said like 21-day workout challenge, and then it had like 18 circles on it. And they just checked each one off as they completed a workout, and they'd share each one, share it every day. And now that we're done, they're sharing, people have been finishing their 18 workouts over the last probably like 5 days or so. Also, like, don't always think that you have to run your own challenge group. But at the same time, if you've never run your own challenge group, you need to. But it's okay, and it's good to team up with people. I go through seasons where I'm like, I want to do it myself, and I go through seasons that I want to partner with people, and then I go through seasons where obviously, well, I shouldn't say I'm always doing it myself because I always have like new coaches that are, shadowing and helping with one, but it's good to team up. But what I've found is don't rely on your upline for too long. I think the biggest thing, and this also came up at our retreat last week, was like, okay, well, what actually like helped your business take off? And it was like when I took ownership and I went off on my own and I did my own group. Because then, and one of my new coaches was like, I'm in, ready. Like at the retreat, she was like creating her first group because she's brand new. And I was like so proud of her because I've had so many people just rely on my group or Lindsay's group or somebody else, like always teaming up with somebody and never just taking that ownership. And I do think it's very important that you take that ownership and you bring someone along with you. You can definitely do it with another new coach or with any other coach. But I think just taking that ownership and running with it is huge. And then this has been most recently, this is I think my last tip, but most recently, because we've been running kind of bigger groups, like when we do launches or even this 21-day workout challenge, I feel it's so important that you keep close ties with your clients, even if you're running a group with another person or multiple other people. And the best way that I've found to do that is to create a group message thread, either in Instagram or Facebook. I recently did Instagram this last group because I had a few people who weren't on Facebook, so they weren't even in the group. So this then gave them the accountability, at least at a small level, right? And kind of gave them that community of other people who were also going through this journey, right? And so I think that has been super helpful, just to keep ties, or like, keep connected to my personal clients. Because in the big group, I'm supporting and helping anybody and everybody that's in there. But this helps you just focus on your group. And then on top of that, I do highly recommend like weekly one-on-one messages with each of your each of your clients as well. And that could literally just be every Monday morning, you're just checking in and like, hey, how was the weekend? Like, but just that one-on-one message, just again, continues that trust, continues that value, continues that connection one-on-one, where you're going to build a deeper relationship. And then some of those challengers may become your coaches. And then you already have that kind of relationship to make the coaching journey a little bit easier. So I think those are all of the tips. I'm happy and would love to take any questions. Let's look in the chat box.
Thank you so much. I think that's so helpful. Like, I love just so much that, like, even that last point, just about creating a Facebook or an IG thread. Certainly not something I've ever thought of doing with challengers. Like, I do it with my coaches, but yeah, super useful.
Yeah. And some people have been like, well, where am I supposed to post, in the thread or in the group? And I said, well, honestly, you do what feels best for you, and where you're gonna, it's about you. Like, I have so many people that are like, I want to do it right. Where am I supposed to post, right? And I'm like, it's not about doing it right. It's about what's going to hold yourself accountable best.
That's your type, though, because you like to do everything to a T. So
I know.
I post it.
I know. I would probably be the one asking that question too.
But my
I get it.
They post it wherever suited them.
Funny.
Donna had some questions. She's had to go because her little toddler wasn't getting to sleep. I think her question was the one that I asked. Yeah, do you run it for just say 2 weeks for the 2-week free trial for BOD, or are these just general free groups?
I do more general free groups.
Yeah.
I think I answered that.
And then the VIP group, I love that idea. We actually had a UK coach on last week, and actually her main boot camp is called, I think it's called Natty Roo VIP something. So I've never thought of doing like a VIP group, but I really like that idea. Do you guys have any questions? No? If you have any questions, just pop them in the chat. But I think it's just, hold on.
I'd say it's like, I don't know, I can't even say 50-50. It just depends. There's some people, I'm not kidding, I've been a coach for 6 years, like I've said multiple times, that friends that have followed me, we've been friends since high school, right? They've followed me for however long, are just now joining 6 years later. And they've probably been in multiple free groups, but it's just not their time. And I think if you get hung up on like, oh my gosh, like nobody from the free group or only one person, like just focus on the one person. That's a positive, rather than focusing on like not everybody enrolled in a challenge group. So I think it's hit or miss depending on the season and timing and type of group and where the people are at. I think you have to just keep your mindset on helping people where they're at, then that little stuff, not to say that that's a little question, but like it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. And I think it's so true, like what you just said, is like they haven't seen the value yet. And it's true of anything we do, right? Like the free group, people watching our stories, people liking our stuff, and then you message them, they don't reply. It's like they just haven't seen the value yet. So it's kind of, it's not like never, it's just not right now. And I think the quicker we can kind of learn that, the easier it makes it from the perspective of getting lots of no's. Sure. But thank you honestly, thank you so much. That Mumpreneur VA website looks amazing. I'm going to go and check that one out as well. And thank you so much for taking time out of your Sunday to explain to us, because I know it's been really valuable for these guys. So thank you so much. And it's so nice to see you.
You're welcome. Good to see you. Did you take a picture by any chance?
Yeah, I want to do a boomerang as well, if we don't mind.
Yeah,
I took a photo when you were talking, but it was more of the presentations. Let me get a photo now. And then I'll do a boomerang. Hold on.
Okay.
My little boy is going nuts next door. Right. Are we ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Perfect. I'll send it to you, Amanda.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
It's great to talk with you.
Yeah, lovely to see you. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.